What is your experience selling for sale by owner now that the market has changed? As you start looking at the rejection-free openers or the assumption-based questions, these are great ways to get into a conversation with a judgment-free zone. Then we need to carry on, though, this curiosity and asking good questions that allow you to show somebody that you know them, provide a level of empathy, and at a certain point, be able to ask for an appointment because you said, knowing that you said. So as we start looking at for sale by owners, we can be asking questions that are similar to what is your experience with selling for sale by owner? What is your experience with, as the market changed, the overall showings that you're receiving on your listing? What do you understand? Or overall, when you start looking at how certain are you? These are all good questions, all right, to better align what we're trying to do in gathering intelligence to break down some of their certainty, because we know eventually that's going to happen. If we can get there sooner, well, then it'll be easier for them to see value in spending time with you. And what I mean by that is the overall appointment with the for sale by owner needs to be identifying what's the current pain that they're running into, knowing the associated ones that we talked about earlier, meaning that as we start looking at when was the last time that you sold for sale by owner, or when was the last time you received a showing? These are great questions. So then that way you could actually let them know, well, just so you know, how important is it that you continue to see showings to drive the highest price that you're looking for on the home? Okay, it could be, how would you feel if? Well, you know what? Thanks for sharing that with me. Most for sale by owners that I talk to, their greatest fear is what would happen if the home sits on the market too long, which is usually one of their greatest struggles. And for selling for sale by owner is the time frame that it takes. And so how would you feel if the home was still on the market in 90 days? These are just questions that as you use your workbook, you're going to better be positioned to follow up their answers with questions that make sense for the context of the conversation. It can also be, as you start looking at questions like, I'm guessing you haven't gotten around to. You know what? I've been talking to a lot of for sale by owners, and time is one thing that's limited for them since they have other things going on outside just the selling of a home. And so I'm guessing you haven't gotten around to putting the home on the MLS. Well, blah, 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 blah. And you can go all over again with what is your experience with homes that are on the MLS and homes that are not? Or what is your understanding about homes that are on the MLS and how they drive more showings and top dollar for sale by owners than homes that are not? And as you start breaking down, and you could start using some, well, could it help? Well, you know what? Let me ask you, knowing this and knowing this and knowing this, could it help if you were able to get your home on the MLS? And certain steps and stages allow you to then insert a if then. And so if I was able to get your home on the MLS, we were able to market it in a way with a limited agreement that drove a certain amount of showings and got you the dollar amount or potentially even more, then would you be in the position to compensate me for those services? These are all just great ways that there is no right or wrong way, but you will find out. And if for sale by owner is something that you want to work on, there will be a lot of classes, coursework, and everything from the systems that you could purchase for sale by owner. If you are in coaching, what you're working on with your coach specifically to that lead source, and obviously so many trainings and role playings and practices that you can partake in. But I hope this helps you better understand a little bit more the context of how are you going to book an appointment for sale by owner is only through something that they see a value with your time being there. If I were to, let's just say it's something like, I don't know if this is for you, but I work with a lot of local buyers and I am previewing properties. When would be a good time for me to stop by your home? So then that way I can showcase it at our next team meeting. Well, why don't you come by Thursday at 4? So remember though, if that's why you're doing it, it's going to be weird when you pull a 180 and you try to list their home. The goal was to showcase it at your team meeting. So this is why the one-liners are not the way into for sale by owner, just like they aren't your way into a relationship. What you're using these for is for anything that they would see value of, that over time, having a relationship with them, you can convert them then to see value in you or your services.